Isang magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Ngayon ay May 11, Wednesday. Ito po ang The Stock Market Today. And if this is your first time in this channel, ako po si Benji Chidoro, isang retired bank officer na nagsimula mag-invest sa Philippine stock market noong 2007. I do this report every day na sinimulan ko po noong August of 2020. I also report the latest news on your favorite and most active stocks. If you like the content, iniimbitahan ko po kayo mag-subscribe sa aking channel. Kung meron po kayong stocks na gustong ipa-review, paki-comment lang po sa comment box at aking ipa-prioritize. Hindi po ako financial advisor. Anything I say in this channel should not be construed as financial advice. Ang ating financial news ay tungkol sa Philippine Stock Exchange Index at napipintong Marcos presidency kasama ang ating financial headlines. At ang resulta ng trading sa ating ngayong araw, May 11, 2022, dito lamang sa The Stock Market Today. Okay, so let's go with our financial headlines. Dito po muna sa ating top stories. From the business world, investors await Marcos cabinet picks. Then business groups outline priorities for Marcos. TRB approves higher toll rates for Cavitex and NLEX. And dito po sa corporate news, Ayala Land Logistics partner to build data centers. Then we have SM Prime income revenues up 15% as economy reopens. But our main news is here. Dito po sa Philstar, PSEI plunges as investors dump stocks. Manila, Philippines, stock market investors dumped their shares yesterday in a massive sell-off the morning after Monday's election as they digested the implications of a Ferdinand Marcos Jr. presidency after early counting put the late dictator's son and namesake more than 15 million votes ahead of his closest rival. Traders said investors are waiting to hear Marcos Jr.'s economic programs as well as his plans for a more aggressive COVID response. Investors would be closely monitoring the elections if it would be clean, honest, credible, and peaceful as an important first step of democracy. The next step is to evaluate the incoming president's platforms and reforms for the first 100 days, especially the members of the cabinet or economic team, said Michael Ricafort of Yuchenko-owned RCBC. Key success factors for the new Philippine president would have to be a competent economic team, stronger institutions, and a more effective response against COVID, Ricafort said. The initial election results resulted in a sea of red at the stock market yesterday, with the benchmark Philippine Stock Exchange Composite Index closing at 6,720.93, down 38.97 points or 0.58%. The PSEI managed to pare losses at the end of the trading session after opening 1.89% lower at 6,632.35. Okay, and then companies associated with businessman Gregorio Araneta III, the brother-in-law of Marcos Jr., however, saw their shares rally yesterday. PhilWeb rallied 30.97 to close at 4.06 per share, while Araneta Properties rallied by 30.77% to close at 170 per share. Both companies are chaired by Araneta. These sectoral gauges likewise were mostly red except for holding firms which gained 0.46%. So yun, ano? PhilWeb at saka Araneta Properties properties tumaas po. And I think we have a request for that. Ano? Yesterday's active stocks were also mostly in the red. Okay, I think I have covered this already yesterday. So yun po, no? In general, the index was in the red, and it was in the red for the past, tingnan natin yung yesterday's yan, ano? The past, it has been going down actually since April here, April 21, and it has been on, tapos meron slight recovery po dito, and then bumagsak uli. Although this is a green candlestick, red po dito sa kanan. So ibig sabihin po, ang comparison po dito sa kanan is the previous day's closing price. So in other words, red pa rin po siya. Ngayon po lalagyan po natin, this is yesterday's na PSEI, hindi pa tayo up to date. So lalagyan po natin mga indicators yan, talagang pababa. And here, it had a huge drop of 2.58%. Bakit? Kasi po lumabas po yung survey ng Bloomberg, or the news from Bloomberg, of an inevitable Marcos presidency based on surveys, kaya po bumaba po yung stock market because confidence is not very good with a Marcos presidency. Yun po, no? Wala pa pong election yan. And just after the election ay bumaba na po siya. So let's now go to dito po sa ating comments. No? We have several comments from our subscribers. Si Cats Big Water, Chel Jokno, if my memory serves me right, he is one of the lawyers of Lopez who defaulted his 800 million loan with DBP. He is okay. Hindi ko po masabi ito. Wag po tayo magsasabi ng mga he is a left-leaning okay, sige. Ganun din si Cat's Big Water, Sir, everything that the news said in this crapper newspaper is pure black propaganda. The atrocities were all planned by the US regime change with traitors Ninoy Aquino, Joma Sison, and CIA. Okay, yan po ang opinion ni Cat's Big Water. And then, Sir, sarap mag-shopping kanina. Daming sale na good fundamental stocks. Swerte ang malaki ang cash balance sa account nila. Po yan, ano? It's time to buy. Isip Roman, Sir, I know this is speculative thoughts on ARA and Web. Ito yung Araneta Properties at saka yung kay Araneta. No? Sige, tingnan po natin yan mamaya. Sumabay din po si PSEI sa pagbaba ng global stock. Yes, tama po yan. Sumabay po siya. Not only that, tignan po natin dito yung from the business world. Ito, stock slide on election results and Wall Street volatility. So, dalawang factors po ang nag-cause ng slide ng stock market yesterday. Yung Wall Street, pagbaba ng Wall Street, at yung resulta ng election natin. So, as alam nyo, umaalis po ang foreign funds dahil po sa resulta ng election. Hanggang doon na lang po. Okay. So, let's now go to the Philippine Stock Exchange and the Philippine Stock Exchange Index on how it performed today. Okay. Let's put up our indicators. Sana po hindi masyadong maingay. Nasa remote location po ako. The PSE index lost 85.07 points. Kahapon po 38.97 points ang nawala. And that's 1.27% down from the previous day's close. And bearish po ang ating index with RSI bearish at 34. Bumaba pa to ng mga 5 puntos. Oversold na po ang ating index. Yung market activity naman, 103 companies declined, 97 advanced, while 48 remained unchanged. Okay, punta naman po tayo sa all-share index, also lost 0.74% or almost flat, ano? Pero loss pa rin po ito. Yung financials, holding companies, industrials, and properties were in the red, while mining and services were in the green. Ngayon, yung most active stocks po ay titingnan po natin si Isip Roman, CHIB. And then we will be doing yung request po ninyo. Meron po tayo ditong ARA Web GMA7. Requested po yan ng ating mga dear subscribers. And the most active stock today is SM. Yan. Okay, so let's start with CHIB. Request po ito ni Isip Roman. Naku, ano nangyari dito? China banking is soaring, ha? And meron po siyang dividend. Banking stock po ito, pero hindi po siya index stock, no? So yan po, no? Meron po siyang dividend na 1 peso at siguro yung isa special 50 centavos, 150. Payment date is June 3 and ex date is May 17. And kung titingnan po natin ang technicals, ay tumaas po ng tumaas probably because of earnings, no? Yan po, no? 15.11 billion ng earnings, 25.14% up, and our indicators are pointing upwards. So yung black line, yung long-term indicator po natin, ay patuloy pong tumataas with the relative strength index now oversold or overbought at 70 rather. Yan po, no? Ngayon po, tingnan natin yung support and resistance niya. Let's draw a parallel channel with MO100 as our support, and the resistance would be here in the vicinity of 28.15. Support is at 26.40. Yan po. And it follows the MO100. Yan po ang aking outlook kay CHIB or China ba. Then ARA, ito yung Araneta Properties, ano? Naku, talagang humihirit ito. Umaakyat at itong si Araneta Properties, it's because of alam niyo na po yung leading candidate sa presidency, si Bongbong Marcos. Brother-in-law niya po ito, yung may-ari ng Araneta Properties, Greggy Araneta, no? Kapatid po ni asawa po ng kapatid niya, si Irene. So it's 1.89 and it has been moving up since May 4. Yan po, no? Nung on the verge of the presidency na po si Marcos, yan po yung nangyayari, yung mga pag-aari ng mga malalapit na kamag-anak at kaibigan ng magiging presidente ay aakyat po talaga yan. Okay? But let's take a look at support and resistance. I think this is the highest already. Let's look at the 1-week chart. Yan, na-reach na po niya yung what do you call this? Resistance. Nandito po siya sa, based on the 1-week chart, nasa 217, and previously the previous resistance was somewhere in this area, 170 po. So na-breach na po yan, and ang isang observation po dito, there is a gap up. Ibalik po natin sa 1 day. May gap up po siya dito po, and gap up pa rin to, no? Anyway, may gap up po siya dito and here, no? At overbought na po yung stock, nasa 85.990, at ngayon po umabot as high as 217. Dati po ay nasa vicinity of 1 peso lang po yan. So nag-double na po or triple na po yung kanyang amount. And ingat lang po tayo dahil overbought na po yung stock, at tingnan nyo pong mabuti ang fundamentals nito, no? Yung fundamentals ng stock, dahil huwag lang po tayo umasa sa technicals po dito, at para hindi po tayo maipit sa ating paghawak, ano, ng stock na ito. Hindi ko sinasabing masama po yung stock na ito. Let's just be cautious about it. Kung na-reach na po yung target price ninyo, ay out na po tayo, hindi po ba? Okay. And that would largely depend on your outlook on the stock. Pagkatapos po ay web. Web ay ito po ay pag-aari din ng Araneta, no? Ng mga Araneta. Ganun din po nangyari, pero nagkaroon po ng profit taking po dito at nagkaroon po dito ng gap up. Okay, and there's a gap up here. Ang implication po ng gap up is sometime in the future ay mafi-fill up po yung gap. Bababa po yung presyo at mafi-fill up po yung gap with a candlestick. In the meantime, based on a 1-week chart, ang pinaka support or pinaka resistance po niya nandito po sa area nito, nasa 4.75 na year resistance. Ang resistance and support po ay areas, hindi po siya exact points, while the previous the next support level would be here, nasa base na po to dito po sa 237 po ang next support level niya. After that will be GMA 7. GMA 7 ay naku, talagang bumababa si GMA, nagta-turn bearish po siya. Let's go back to the 1-day chart. Pero meron po siyang bounce today and there is a gap down here. Okay, gap down or gap up, yan po yung gap between the closing price and the opening price and closing or opening price of the following day, no? And sometime in the future that gap will have to be filled, which means that the stocks will be filled by a rising candlestick. So bearish po itong si GMA 7 at nagko-cross over na po ang mga indicators po natin. There's another gap down here. Ito po. Yan po yung gap down niya. So dalawa po yung gap downs. And I think this is the prevailing sentiment. But GMA is a network, ano? Ano po yan? Walang kinikilingan, walang pinoprotektahan. Kaya po, I think it's just following market sentiment on the stocks that we see today. So, pinaka-support po niya, hanapin po natin yung based on the 1-week chart. Support level na po ito. Nandito po yung pinaka-support niya. Yan po, nasa 11.19. And then resistance based on the 1-week chart would be 6.16, 18, and it is, the stock is bearish with RSI already oversold. So, maganda pong bumili ng GMA 7 sapagkat ang RSI po natin ay below 30, oversold na po yan. And then, tingnan naman po natin si SM. Si SM naman ay patuloy na nagiging bearish at patuloy po bumababa po siya. Let's draw a parallel channel on SM to determine support and resistance. Ang pinaka-support level po natin dito ay yung 50-day exponential moving average. And there is just a there is an overshoot here. So, ang tingin ko po dito, ang pinaka-support niya ay nandito po sa 798 following the parallel channel. And the resistance is at 880. Bearish po ang lagay ni SM with RSI bearish at 34. Okay, then finally we have NIKL. Si NIKL naman ay nagkaroon siya ng bounce today, but it's just a small one. And mapapansin nyo po, nag-breach na po ng 100-day exponential moving average, but it is acting as our support. So yun po ang ating support level, 7.09.08 ang EMA 100. At I think tingnan natin if it follows world prices. Silipin lang po natin ang nickel sa world market, nickel is up 6.94. Sorry, here pala. So it's up. World nickel prices are up, but it's also up today. However, it's just in the past few days it has been following market sentiment. Okay po, yan po ang ating report sa stock market. May 11, 2022, ito po si Benji Chidoro nagpapaalala, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagsubaybay. Hanggang sa muli. Stay safe. God bless. Hanggang sa muli. Bye for now.